So when you have a successful business and you've seen some of that success, sometimes it's hard to step outside of it. A lot of times people in leadership or management get so involved in the day-to-day processes that they don't take time to step outside of their business to work on their business because they're so busy working in their business every day, which is totally appropriate. But if you really want to take the time to grow, you'll burn out really fast if you're chasing all the day-to-day issues and all of that. And then maybe in the evening or weekends trying to put some strategy or thoughts together to work on your business. So for instance, there's nothing wrong with using Excel for bookkeeping, especially if your bookkeeping is very simple. But that is also time that you take to have to continue to collect your receipts and put your debits and credits in and do all of that. Whereas if you had a automated system that did that for you straight from your business account, that could help in a lot of different ways. But I find that entrepreneurs or business owners sometimes spin in processes that aren't very efficient because you're in it. You know, when you're in a process and you're like, well, this is the way we've done it. And you don't realize that maybe a new software or something has come in that can make it easy. So if you can take those tedious daily tasks and find some other way to get those done and step away from that, then you can really take the time to think like, what's my next step for my business? How do we get there? What do we do? So a growth gap could be that they haven't had the opportunity, or maybe they just didn't know that a strategic plan could be helpful, right? Like a lot of people can, off of your gut, put some things in place. Maybe you make a business plan that talks about, you know, here's what I need, here's how I need to get this done, and you do that. But then the gap piece is missing that thoughtful strategy to move forward or to stay in business. I think another growth gap could be if you're doing everything manually, and so you're looking at those opportunities to automate a lot of your processes and resources. I think the other thing too, sometimes we as entrepreneurs, we think or we try to do everything ourselves, right? And sometimes that's just because there could be multiple reasons why people want to do things themselves. It could be a resource issue. Maybe they don't know somebody else who does it. Sometimes people don't know what they don't know, right? With the status quo, like it becomes really easy for people to stay in that space where it's like, well, we've always done it this way, and this has always worked for us. And you know, we're in an environment where things are changing every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Right? New software's dropping, lots of new ways to get information out. And, you know, when I think about businesses like Blockbuster, and they stayed in that realm of DVDs and VHS tapes, and they just couldn't make it to the digital world. And now they aren't an organization anymore, right? And so when you think about organizations that take that and they're like, okay, we have to keep in check with the times so that they can keep growing and stay relevant in the industry because things are changing so fast. So if they're struggling with the resources, my expertise can help them with that growth. My expertise really lies in coming alongside of people and just finding out where they want to take their business, what do they want to do, and then helping them to set a plan to do that. I do have an expansion readiness review checklist, and I think it's a really great way for anybody to walk through to really kind of start thinking about, are there areas that you want to grow in? It's only like 22, 23 questions, but it walks through areas in your organization to help you to think through like, oh, I probably could use some support in this area or in that area. And then from that expansion readiness review, we can sit down and talk together, and you may have some insights from going through that checklist and you know, then you can come to me and say, I really want some help in this area, or we can walk through it together and I could say, gosh, this looks like an area of growth that would be, you know, helpful to you in your business.